Hey curated crew, this Roborock Q5 series is likely the best value, high performance robot vacuum on the market. Let's unbox quickly and I'll tell you why. Alright, so this is what came in the box. There's really three main parts, and it was the main piece of the vacuum unit, that's the home unit. Then the base of it came separately, and then there was the RoboPack. So these you saw came in two pieces. It attaches here, so I could show you here. See those screws at the bottom there? There are four screws, this one, and then the two on the other side, and then the two up top. So basically 6 screws that screw the base into the actual home unit. And yeah, that was it. And that came with the robot. This is what the back of the robot looks like. So there's about a 6-inch roller wheel. It's about 6.5 across here. There's some really big and rugged wheels here, and you see they have that retraction that allow them to ride up on carpet, right up and off of carpet and hardwood floors. Then you have the brush that spins and takes dust off corners, and then the wheel up top. And then this is the charging points here, charging point 1, charging point 2 on the side here. That's about it for underneath. Then you have the sensor on top, and you have the home button and the power button. And then you have you can empty the dustbin from here actually. So this is the unit, and then this is the bin here. So you can just snap that back in. You can empty this manually, as well as, you know, it rides up here, and once the system detects that this is full, it just sucks everything up into here, and then this becomes empty, and then you can do it again. So for the most part, that's what this does. This is a really great setup. So I really like how compact this unit is, and you can just pick the whole thing up in one piece, and then, you know, just take it upstairs, take it downstairs, take it wherever you need to take it. Oh, and I forgot to show you, this is the hit plate in front. So when it bumps something, that is what tells the robot that it needs to turn and gives it that signal. So that goes around maybe 50%, yeah, 50% of the circumference of the robot. So I did build a 8-foot by 4-foot frame that I put on the ground in my living room in the basement here, and I'm going to use that to contain these robots and to do some tests. So I'm going to put some dirt down, and I'm going to put some papers, magazine pieces and stuff, just like dust and stuff, put that down and let the robots do their thing and show you guys how it works. So you're gonna see this, as well as I have an iRobot Roomba upstairs, and here it is. This is the iRobot Roomba 694. Just a power button up front, and similar 6-inch roller, similar, I guess, dust collector on the side here, and then similar wheels. The wheels almost look identical actually. So you can see it has that same wheelbase. Most obvious difference is the collector for the dust. So you see that is kind of to the front and it pops out the side, whereas the Roborock comes out the top. So that is the major difference here. And of course, the other obvious difference is this is the base. So it's really just a charging base, like a charger for your phone. It's a charging base for this robot. It has the sensors for it to go back home, and it does that really well. But as you can see, slightly different robot, slightly different base, and I think they will go well price-wise against one another. This has served us for a couple years now, maybe a year and a half to 2 years. We've had this, so we've been using it upstairs and it's been working really well. Now I'm excited to see how it does against the Roborock. And although this is a $700 unit, it's currently just $359. So at $276 versus $359, my immediate guess is that this is a steal of a deal, the Roborock that is. It's a steal of a deal to purchase right now. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. This isn't an apples to apples comparison because the iRobot Roomba series line has upgraded models that can compete directly with this Roborock Q5 Plus, such as the i3, i4, and they even have a slightly cheaper combo mop and vacuum, the i5. And I'll be the first to agree. But one, this is the vacuum that I have. It's the update that I bought. So these are all things that I buy and use myself. So this is what I had. And two, I think a lot of you are in the same boat that I was in. A couple years ago, you weren't really sure about this robot vacuum thing. So you dabbled in a lower end model, but now you've seen how it performs and the technology that's behind it. And it's greatly improved over the years, to be honest. So now you want to upgrade. And this is the upgrade that I chose. I think this is the upgrade that'll get you the most bang for your buck. And the reason for that bang is our first point of discussion, LiDAR. LiDAR stands for Light Detection and Ranging. And if it sounds familiar, that's because this is what the large rideshare companies like Uber and Lyft are using to build their autonomous vehicles. And it's one of the tools that behemoths like Google uses on cars that generate street maps. Here's how it works. It emits millions of laser pulses out of the robot. These lasers actually measure the distance in a fashion similar to echolocation that animals use with sound, except this is with light. The lasers bounce off of existing objects and rooms and walls, and it allows the robot to measure distances and then create an overall 360-degree map of your room. So it also does a real-time mapping because as the robot moves, it keeps checking its environment. If there's something that comes into its way, it'll be able to map that object and go around that object immediately. LiDAR allows for precision cleaning. So in the app, you can create go zones or no-go zones, as well as spot cleaning points within any room or floor. But I'll go into that later on in the video. It also allows the Roborock Q5 to clean faster and smarter, adapting to different room layouts for maximum efficiency. Older versions of the Roomba struggle in the dark room because of their smart mapping tech, which require light to map effectively. The LiDAR doesn't have that problem. Next up is battery life. The Q5 Plus has double the battery life of the Roomba 694 and likely any RoboVac in its range, coming in at 180 minutes versus 90 minutes of runtime. It also has just over quadruple the suction power, coming in at 2700 pascals versus the Roomba's 600 pascals. Pascals are how you measure pressure, and by extension, the suction in vacuums. I'd say that if you have a vacuum at or above 2500 pascals, it'll be great. And of course, the more pascals, the merrier. The accompanying Roborock app is great, and also where this vacuum stands out. When you use the mapping function and the LiDAR component begins working and it begins scanning around the room, it's really cool. It's also very trippy to see your house layout just appear on an app where you didn't put it in the first place. The best function though for me is the go and no-go zones. You can open the app and point not just to one particular room like most apps for robo vacuums allow you to do, but you can go to a specific spot in that room by manually using a square in the app to expand or contract to the area, and then you just send the robot. The robot leaves the base, goes to that area, vacuums in a very strategic pattern. So it vacuums around the perimeter and then it goes up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down until it cleans the entire area. And as the parent of a toddler, this is priceless. You can immediately take the robot out to clean up messes that your child makes without having to clean an entire room. It just goes straight to that spot, cleans it, then back to base.
Okay, first and foremost, I'm only borrowing this dirt from my mother-in-law's plant pot. Don't tell her or you may not hear from me again. I set the zone on the app and then released the robot. The robot came around and it went to start the perimeter walk. So as you can see here, it's going around the perimeter. Now, even though the perimeter is not a perfect square as it shows in the app, the robot senses where it has to go. So it just completes the perimeter, even though it had to go around the baseboards and around the stairs and everything else. Once it gets back to where it started on the perimeter, it begins the up and down or back and forth movement that you see right now. And that is the strategic cleaning of the floor. You can see it's going line by line and trying not to miss a spot. It also means that the robot is not wandering aimlessly around the room, guessing whether or not it's completed its task. It knows once it does the square, the task is complete.
Counter to that, You can set no-go zones to highlight areas of the floor that the vacuum should not clean, which is equally as helpful if you set up something temporarily or if there's a part of the room that has an object that will obstruct the path of the vacuum. Example, if you have kids and you have a big play area, or maybe you're doing a little project and you set up something but you know the vacuum is going to come around this area and it's going to get in trouble, going to run over some things, maybe some cords, or maybe you have little pieces lying around that you don't want the vacuum to pick up, you could easily set a no-go zone, and that way the vacuum will clean but won't clean in that area. Then there's the spot cleaning feature, which is similar to the go zone feature that I just mentioned, except the robot will clean a 1.5 square meter area around it. So again, very precise, very strategic, very straight to the point, and it doesn't have to clean the entire room to get it done. You go straight to the source of the issue, you clean it up, and then the robot goes straight back to base. The Roborock unit is really impressive. When it leaves and you give it a job to do and it goes to do the spot clean and it cleans up the mess and then immediately heads straight back to the dock and settles and then begins charging, it feels like magic. But what also happens is when it docks, the actual unit senses whether or not the dust collection is full, and then you get a strong vacuum that sucks the dust from in the dust collection port in the robot up into the canister. And like I showed in the unboxing, this is the bag that collects the dust, and it has 7 weeks of dust collection estimated in this bag. It's really interesting when it gets back and then you hear the vacuum come on. It's pretty loud, that's the only thing. It sucks up the dust, but then this becomes empty and it can clean again with no problem.
All right, head-to-head testing time, and for this I created an 8x4 rectangle, so it's pretty big, and then I chipped up some papers and threw them on the ground throughout the rectangle and let the robots loose. This is the Roomba. The Roomba doesn't really have a strategy when it cleans. As you can see from the video, it goes left, right, up, down, back, forward, just diagonal, just any which way to just clean, and it just does it over and over again. To clean. It did pretty good. There was some stuff left in the cracks and crevices of the rectangle that you guys can't see here. I think my biggest thing with this is that it took 12 minutes. It's just 8x4, so 32 square feet, and it took the Roomba 12 minutes to complete. It felt like it was just guessing whether or not it had actually passed here before, and it would keep going back and forth over the same place over and over again until it finally stopped. Okay, it's the Roborock's turn, and I really feel like the Roborock came in and showed its strength here. It was done with this really quickly. It took all of 5 minutes for the Roborock to complete this, and take a look at how it cleans it. It goes around the perimeter, as we said before, and then it starts strategically cleaning the middle, and once it's done, it's passed, job is done, the Roborock stops and is ready to dock again. Okay, for this test, it's the same 8x4 rectangle, but instead of paper chips, I pinched my mother-in-law's entire pot, hoping that she doesn't see it or notice, and I'm gonna plead ignorance. But I used the soil from that pot on the ground, as you guys can see, to make a mess on the beige carpet, my goodness, to run this test. So the Roomba's up first, and it's a little bit of the same. It's going in all directions, diagonally, up, down, left, right. The issue I had with this run again was that it took forever. It took another 12 to 15 minutes to complete, and I think the Roomba was sensing the dirt on the ground, but its suction was not strong enough to pick it up, so it kept going over some spots over and over and over again. And that led to like a 15-minute run, which for an 8x4 rectangle seems a bit excessive, but that's, I think, the advantage that the Q5 Plus has on this machine. Once again, the Roborock came in and went straight to work. It went on around the perimeter of the rectangle, as you could see, and then just started going at it. It was done really quickly. It left no dirt, and actually, because this was the second run, it actually picked up a lot of the dirt that had sunk into the carpet. Now, you still see some brown there, but that's because the carpet is actually stained now because I threw semi-wet dirt on it. but the Roborock did an excellent job here in probably about 6 minutes with a deeper clean.
The only thing I didn't like about the unit is, and let me pick it up here to give you a closer look, is the edge brush. So you see the edge brush right here. When we got on carpet, and I'll put the video up right now, we got on carpet and this was spinning. It actually started spinning really slowly, like if it wasn't able to spin on carpet, which wasn't necessarily true when I let it run for a few minutes by itself, but this kind of got stuck. And if you've never felt these before, they're a little bit like rubber, elasticy rubber that flexes, as you can see here as I flick it with my fingers. But it actually ended up doing really well. Now the price. Now we spoke about this a little bit briefly before, and it's worth mentioning again that this is a $700 unit on sale for $359 right now, and the iRobot Roomba 694 is a $279 unit on sale now for $255. $104 difference between the two to upgrade to a better vacuum. And if you have no RoboVac at all, it's a great place to start. You come in at a mid-tier vacuum that's very powerful for $359. And since we're talking about cleaning, if you're looking for a product that cleans clothes, toys, and other products around the house and will drastically reduce your runs to the dry cleaner, click on this video. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.